Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The studio lights glowed softly as the countdown to Live with Kelly and Mark began. It was the kind of morning that felt almost too quiet, no buzzing chatter from the crew, no nervous laughter, no pre-show rush. Everything was strangely still, as if the air itself was holding its breath. Everyone knew today was different. Today marked Kelly Ripa's return after weeks of unexplained absence, an absence that had triggered rumors, concern, and endless speculation. Behind the curtain, Kelly stood alone, gently rubbing her palms together, a small nervous habit she developed early in her career. She wore a cream-colored blouse and understated makeup, not the bright, energized look viewers were used to. Her eyes told the truth. She had been through something incredibly heavy. She took one deep breath as the stage manager lifted his hand. And we're live in 5, 4, 3. The curtain opened. The audience rose to their feet, cheering wildly. The applause was deafening, echoing through the studio like a stadium eruption. Kelly stepped out slowly, forcing a soft smile. She pressed her hand to her chest, visibly overwhelmed by the warm reception. Mark Consuelos stood at the edge of the stage, watching her with concern, ready to step forward if she needed him. Kelly waved to the audience, but instead of heading directly to her seat, she stopped. Her eyes glistened. The applause softened, the energy shifting from excitement to empathy. "Thank you," she whispered into the microphone, but her voice cracked. The audience fell silent. Kelly blinked hard, trying to gather herself, then finally moved toward the center stage. Mark placed a gentle hand on her back. "Take your time," he whispered. But even that soft assurance nearly broke her completely. She sat down, exhaling shakily. Mark sat beside her, not as a co-host, but as a husband ready to hold her together if she fell apart. The camera zoomed in. Millions of viewers were watching. Kelly looked directly into the lens. And then she broke. The breakdown everyone saw, and no one expected. "First of all," Kelly began, voice trembling, "I want to thank all of you for the messages, the love, and the prayers. I didn't expect any of this." Her hand covered her mouth as she tried to steady her breath. "Being away from the show, from all of you, it felt like losing a part of myself. But sometimes life forces you to stop." She paused again, wiping her eyes. Mark reached over and held her hand. She didn't pull away. Kelly inhaled deeply. What Mark and I went through was the most difficult moment of my life, and I wasn't ready to talk about it. Not then, not even now. But you all deserve honesty." The audience leaned in. Social media lit up instantly. What happened to Kelly? Why is she crying? Is she okay? Kelly's shoulders trembled. "I didn't come back today to make anyone sad. I came back because I need to reclaim my life. And because this show is my family." Mark squeezed her hand again, his face soft, supportive, but shadowed with the same pain. Kelly looked down, and her voice broke completely. "I lost someone very important to me." Gasps fluttered through the audience. Kelly shook her head gently, trying to hold herself together. "But this isn't just about loss," she continued. "It's also about learning how fragile everything is, how quickly everything can change." She looked at Mark. "And how important it is to have someone who never leaves your side." Mark's eyes glistened now. "We went through something scary," he said, finally speaking. "Something that made us question everything. But Kelly, she's stronger than anyone I know." Kelly smiled weakly. "But even strong people break," she whispered. "And I broke." Behind the scenes, the truth Kelly couldn't hide forever. Over the next several minutes, Kelly spoke with a rawness the world had rarely seen from her. She talked about nights without sleep, days when she couldn't speak without crying, and moments when even taking a breath felt heavy. She described sitting on the bathroom floor with the door locked. Mark's voice muffled on the other side as she fought waves of emotion she couldn't understand. "I felt lost," she said softly. "Completely lost." Mark nodded. "She couldn't turn it off," he said. "Not the pain, not the pressure, not the fear." And I had never seen her like that in all our years together. Kelly tried to laugh but ended in tears. "Can you believe," she said shakily, "I kept worrying about this show? I thought people would forget me." The audience murmured a sympathetic awe. Kelly, Mark said gently, people don't forget someone who makes their mornings better for almost 3 decades. Her eyes softened. Maybe, but I forgot myself for a while. And that sentence hit every person in the room like a punch. The moment the audience broke with her, the studio remained silent. No laughter, no applause, no noise, just the sound of Kelly trying not to fall apart again. But the more she tried to hold the tears back, the harder they came. At one point, a woman in the front row stood and blew Kelly a kiss. Another audience member shouted softly, "We love you, Kelly." And then something beautiful happened. The entire audience stood up again. Not with the explosive cheer from the opening, but a slow, tender rise. They gave her a standing ovation, soft, heartfelt, emotional. The kind that wasn't about entertainment, but about humanity. Kelly's chin trembled as she watched them. She stood, placing her hand on her heart. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know how much that means to me." Kelly reveals the turning point. When the applause quieted, Kelly continued. "There was a moment when I didn't know if I would ever come back. Not to this show, not to public life, not to anything. I just wanted silence." Mark lowered his gaze. He knew that moment well. "But then," Kelly said, voice lifting, "my daughter Lola told me something I will never forget." She paused, smiling. She said, "Mom, you always tell us to be brave. Maybe it's your turn." The audience sighed emotionally. "She was right," Kelly said softly. "I needed to be brave, even when it felt impossible." She looked around the studio, then directly into the camera again. "And this, coming back here, is my bravery. Underscore, 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 underscore. Mark takes over and reveals what he saw. Mark gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "I'm proud of you," he said. "And I want people to know something." Kelly was hurting, yes, but she was also fighting, every day, even on the days when she wanted to give up. Kelly looked down, overcome. "And I know she won't say this herself, so I will," Mark continued. "She's still healing. She's not magically okay because she's back on TV. She's here because she doesn't give up." A few audience members wiped their eyes. Behind closed doors, Mark said, she faced something that would break anyone, and she still showed up. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Kelly covered her mouth again, trying not to sob on air. "I wasn't strong alone," she whispered. "I had you. And I had all of them." She gestured to the audience. The comeback message that shocked millions. Finally, Kelly stood, straightened her blouse, and spoke with a steadiness that hadn't been there earlier. "I'm here today because life is unpredictable, because pain changes you, and because sometimes the comeback is more important than the fall." She looked directly into the camera, into the homes of millions. "If you're going through something, anything, please know that breaking doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been fighting for too long without rest." She held her heart again. "And if you take one thing from today, let it be this. It's okay to not be okay, but it's also okay to come back. Even slowly, even shakily, even in tears." The studio erupted in applause, louder this time, filled with admiration and relief. Kelly exhaled, a release months in the making, and finally smiled, genuinely. "I'm back," she whispered, "and I'm not going anywhere." Mark pulled her into a gentle hug as the audience cheered. For the first time in weeks, Kelly Ripa looked at peace. And across the world, millions watched, stunned and moved, witnessing one of the rawest, most emotional comebacks ever seen on live television. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our Kelly and Mark report for all updates.